Well, my name is Minesh Baxi. I'm a business coach for over 24 years, published over 12 books so far. And I love talking to entrepreneurs because I moved from a job to joy, which is I hated my job. And here I am. I love what I do. I work with different fantastic people. And that's why we have Drew and Cathy here. So, Drew and Cathy, welcome.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's fun to always talk to people who are excited about their journey. And in this conversation, we'll cover a few key points. The first point will be more about what kind of job you had or what made you switch from a job, and then what made you pick the franchise, and then we'll go from there. So let's just keep short questions, short answers. So, Drew and Kathy, give a little bit introduction about yourself.
Okay. My name's Drew. I worked in corporate America for about 20, 25 years. I was a project manager and I was an IT change manager for a large corporation. The environment in corporate America was getting stranger and stranger. What made me start looking was I felt something inside that it was important that I help people. Along with that, at the same time was the company was started going through layoffs for the first time in 56 years they've ever had layoffs. So the first round that came by, I realized that it was a matter of time before I was one on the chopping block. So I began to look for an exit strategy. And included in that exit strategy, I wanted to have a business that would make a difference in people's lives. Because never in the history of the world has anyone said, thank God you were able to pull that project off or to make that change, at least in my IT career. Maybe there are people out there that have experienced that, but I never saw anything like that. That's what got me here. The other thing is I wanted to build something for my family that I can either pass on to my children or sell it and run off into the sunset with my beautiful wife.
Absolutely. Kathy, go ahead and share yourself.
Well, I still actually work full time for a bank. So I still do that, but also help him with the business. And what we actually kind of had this business, I guess I don't want to say thrown into our lap, but one of our friends actually was doing the same thing, on the same boat as us, and he's in Alabama. So we kind of sort of fell into this franchise together and fell in love with it.
Well, thank you. So let's talk about that. Why did you pick a franchise?
Well, franchises typically have better success ratios than just a regular startup mom and pop. So they kind of had a track to run on. So that made me feel a little more comfortable. The second thing is that we looked at different franchises, and what we liked about this one is particularly the demographics, the amount of business that's going to be growing. The marketplace is going to be growing over the next 10 or 20 years.
Training.
The training, the ability, their familiarity with the products and the marketplace. It just really, all the pieces of the puzzle seem to be there.
The relationships with almost 60 different vendors that you couldn't just do day one. So that was very enticing. And just the people that owned the business or the franchise.
Yeah, and the ability to pick up the phone and be able to call Brian in Houston and say, Brian, I'm facing this. What do I do?
Right.
That if I just opened a privately owned business, I wouldn't have that ability to do that.
So tell me a little bit more about what you actually do in your franchise.
Okay. So what we do is we provide home mobility solutions. And what that means is as people age, practically everyone I know, if not everyone I know, wants to age in place at home safely. And so what we do is we help people be able to do that. By installing things like wheelchair ramps, stair lifts, in-home elevators, porch lifts, grab bars, anything you can think of to be able to stay at home. Some of the other things we do is we do patient lifts. If you're ever need somebody to get from one place to another place in the house, we help with that.
And we learn every day new products, which is really, really cool. I never realized how many things were out there and available to people. And I don't think people realize that either. So hopefully we can bring a little bit of a spin to the public on what is available. We were in the same boat. His father got sick and came to live with us. So we know exactly what happened. Like you have 3 days to say your life is changing and he's coming to live with you. Like we know exactly how that feels and nobody was there to help us. So we have that piece of it to hopefully give back to our customers to help them and show them. Sometimes it may be a little, what is it, a drink with a fire hose sometimes, but we want to be able to share that information because there's portable things like the patient lift that you think you have to do on your ceiling. You don't. There's actually one over here that we talked to the company and it's now, if you're home alone, you can do it. It's amazing what they have come up with now.
Wow. I think the
Yeah.
part that is exciting is that you personally saw the need in the marketplace. And I think
Right.
that's definitely a big positive. So,
And
Mhm.
one of the most rewarding things, and I don't mean to preclude if you were going to ask this, but one of the best things about this business
Mhm.
that I have experienced is you're making a huge difference in people's lives. And regardless of what business you are in, if you can do that, help people, there's something that feels really good inside about doing that.
Totally, totally. When you make a difference in people's lives and it is immediate, right? It's not like down the road. And
Yeah.
that does happen. So let me ask you, in your situation, obviously you mentioned a lot of positives that the franchise was able to provide you. Did you run into challenges that you possibly did not expect? Maybe spent more money than you did or whatever?
Yeah, it was not the cheapest thing in the world. Um but everything that's worth having is worth working for. Um so some of the other challenges that we ran into is staffing is a problem, but learning new products, sometimes there's a learning curve, just like anything. Um, the other thing is that we struggle with, and I've got to figure out a better way to do this, but you when you go out and you meet somebody and you know you have a solution for them, but they're not able to purchase it, and it just breaks your heart to not be able to help them because unfortunately it's a dollars and cents thing. I want to help everybody, but you just can't help everybody, and stay in business. So those are some of the things that we've learned.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, franchises do a great job of providing operational systems to people. They
Mhm.
really do provide that. They have access to information that you could use, etc. One of the challenges I do hear from different businesses, startups, franchises, etc., is they do sometimes struggle, quite often actually, in bringing leads in. And
Oh,
not always the case. So I know we met because of that. So tell us a little bit about your journey in that direction.
It
well,
worked at first.
I don't know if more people came into the marketplace that were spending more money than I was. I was spending a bundle of money, what I call a bundle of money, between $3,000 and $4,000 a month on Google Ads, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't, and then you would look at your results, and they're talking about things that,
Impressions.
I'm like, well, okay, we had 7,000 impressions, but I got 3 actual leads out of it, so
There was no way to justify
yeah,
or
you couldn't quantify
quantify. Thank you.
yeah how it was working, and so what I was looking for, and when we met, I was looking for a something that I could control instead of this money going into a black hole, and so when as we began to build our relationship, we're creating a targeting system that we can actually have control of, that our day-to-day activities can improve, that business. I haven't completely stopped Google because,
The franchise, we have a marketing department at the
yeah,
franchise, and they recommend that we do still keep some Google. And they know what they're doing as well. So I think we've slimmed it down to
yeah,
the very minimum.
we've cut it down to, I don't know, like 1,000, 1,500 a month, from 3,000 to 4,000. So we've cut it down dramatically. we part of our franchise, we do a lot of business with the VA, so that's helping us. Um, and it's as you and I build a relationship and build our teams together. I hope to eventually at one point be able to turn Google off and just use the organic leads that would come off Google from our 5-star reviews. So that's kind of
Mhm.
where we're at, where we've been, and where I want to get to. Because I would love to not give Mr. Google any money at
So
all.
let me jump in and give you my opinion on this. And for those who are watching as well, ads work, obviously. There is not a question whether ads work or not. But here is my problem with ads. If it is the first thing you're doing, don't do it. If it is the first thing you're doing to market yourself, don't do it. I don't care if it is a print ad or it's a, social media, Google, YouTube, etc. Don't do it, right? Why? Because until you have a process for understanding the demographics that you're working with, getting more clear about how to convert them as well, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. It just doesn't happen. I see so many people put in their money in print ads, for example. It's all pray, like, hey, I pray something will happen. Most people, until you have a process in place, and I teach that a lot in my business coaching, don't advertise. Why? Because you don't know what you'll get. You have no idea. The first thing is you don't even know what your ideal target market is. Rarely do you know target market off the bat unless you are obviously following somebody's very, very proven system applied to your specific situation. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges people will always face is because people say, hey, ads, ads, and there is everybody ready to take your money. I hope you have found out that already the hard way, right?
Right.
People,
Yeah, Price is Right got some.
exactly, exactly. What really we are looking at, what I'm saying in general from my experience is that if they are not willing to guarantee and stay behind, there is no point in offering the money upfront, right? You know what I'm saying, right? For me, I always provide some level of guarantee to my clients. Why? Because they're putting in their hard-earned money. And if I can't give them the returns, then it's not really honest on my part to take their money. Now, exceptions are obviously I have a gym in that as an example for trainer, but the person doesn't show up to the gym, then really I'm not responsible. That's a very different issue. But if you are willing to work hard, which you both are, my goal is, hey, how can I make sure that the money gets back into your pocket? If it doesn't get you 5, 10 times the return, then I'm not doing the right job for you. And I'm in the trenches with everything. So when they take the risk with you, it's an easier situation. When it's all your money, no risk on their part, that's a tough one to take. I do not recommend that part. So I believe being partners in risk together rather than, and obviously I have a decent database of people. I've been able to introduce you to quite a few people as well. And I believe a lot in understanding your target market and also making sure you have a process in place to convert clients and build relationships rather than build relationships and be known as an expert, like being on this podcast. The more you're known as an expert, the more you leverage relationships around you, you at least have a foundation to attract clients. Does that make sense what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you're pretty excited. You just had your most profitable month in 2025. I'm sure you have some big goals. Do you want to share any positives before we wrap up?
I think financially, I have a certain amount of money in my business checking account, and I have a certain amount in my savings that before I started. Both of those accounts are where they should be. They haven't really fallen below. So I haven't. I would love to say I made millions of dollars, but I haven't lost anything. And I've still been able to eat and drive and have a little bit of fun when you get a chance. As far as 2025, our goal is to do at least 20 to 30 transactions a month that would get us to our goal. And we're going to work together to build a team that will allow us to do that. And I think that
we said, we started, he's always come up with like monetary number for a year, but we tried to do a different approach when we got this franchise. We want to help 480 people our first year.
Yeah.
And that would equate to 10 people a week, which should hopefully equate to those 20 to 30 sales a month. But we're like, that's actually very attainable. And we're hoping that we can continue with that and maybe each year grow that number because as we help people, the money will come.
Yeah, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So
Right.
we just
Totally.
got to get out there and help more people.
Yes, exactly. And
Fantastic.
it really helped us so much because we were coming in from something like seeing it, oh, we got to do this to, oh no, let's just focus to this right now and get through this. It's almost, so
Yeah, the
that has been wonderful.
yeah, your ability to target, to I guess aim for the bullseye instead of aim for the deer. That has been a big paradigm shift for our business. That you don't realize you're doing it until you're doing it, and then you're like, oh, it's just like anything. Everything's obvious once you know it, and then you're like, how did I miss it? I'm like, it was obvious, but somehow I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and it wasn't
Yeah.
in front of me. So
Well, we all have that experience in life, and you both are such a sweet couple to work with. I really enjoy your energy, your dedication, your focus, and you're improving. I mean, you had a great month last month, and I know 2025 will be even better. And as I continue to provide you more processes which will help you streamline and focus on the right people, your results will just explode, in my opinion, in 2025. So I'm really excited about 2025, working with you and supporting you in your journey. So thanks for the opportunity to work with you.
thank you
Thank you.
for all your help.